Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Doing Science the Wong Way. I am your host, Mr. Wong, and today I'm just super frustrated because the sun is getting in my eyes. It's so annoying, and so I'm gonna have to wear my hat like this because it's just way too frustrating. But do you know what's loving the sun right now? Is these solar panels. And so we've been talking about different ways that energy can be converted. And one of the ways that we looked at was going from light to energy. And so one of the ways that I like to do this at my house is using these puppies right here that I like to call the solar panels. And so it's just a nice way of powering my home. And I'm just gonna quickly, I just want to check. So right now it's a pretty sunny day, it's pretty nice out, and so right now I'm making about 3,700 watts. When the sun comes directly out at this time of year, maybe I'm getting around 7,500 watts, which is more than enough to power my house. And so in Alberta we do get a lot of sun, so having panels in Alberta is a great idea. Even in the winter time, it can often be quite sunny, and so Alberta I would say has a really good climate for solar panels in terms of the amount of sun hours we get per year. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about solar panels as well. The first is they're too expensive, they're not worth it. Well, it is true. They are a little bit costly, but so is my old electricity bill every month. And so they say that the panels will pay for themselves in about 10 or 15 years. And so, it is a huge investment for sure. But eventually, I don't know, I guess I'm just a believer in helping out the environment and reducing my carbon footprint. So I like that about them as well. But doesn't it take a lot more energy to make these panels than they're ever going to provide over the course of their lifetime? That's another argument against solar panels and why they might be a bad idea. For example, we talked about the idea that in them there's a lot of silicone, so that has to be mined and melted. And for sure, there is some production that needs to go into making these things. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, everything around us that is man-made, it's gonna, I don't know, production's involved in making vehicles and houses and everything, but the argument that they'll never make as much energy in their lifetime as it takes to make these materials is false. They pay back in terms of the amount of energy it takes to make them in 2 to 3 years. So it's actually, and there's been studies by the U.S. Department of Energy, and so there's like over 400 sources that kind of say the same thing about that as well. And what about if it's like cloudy out? Yeah, it's true. Yeah, for sure it's gonna get cloudy, and they don't provide as much power if it's cloudy, but like I said, Alberta's a pretty sunny place. With snow, they also, once snow gets on them, they for sure don't provide as much energy either. But luckily, Alberta, we have nice long summers with a lot of daylight. So in the summer, they're very productive. So in the summer, make about in a given month make about 3 times as much power as I use, and that money can just be sold back to the grid. But in the winter, I only make about a quarter to a third of the power I use, so I need to take back some power from the grid as well. So this this system is grid tied. So these panels are making energy, and they're making direct current, as you guys probably know about, and then that direct current, it kind of gets fed through here. Got some more over here as well, and um, yeah, and then that needs to be converted to alternating current, which can be eventually used by us here at the Wong household. So yeah, that's my little spiel on solar panels. I think they're great. I love them. I have no regrets about um, getting these put on my house. And yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, I think it could be a great idea. Bye. Hey guys, just want to talk a little bit more about solar power and just kind of what power generation looks like throughout the day. And so, yeah, I guess obviously you can't start making power until the sun comes up. So here we have a little bit of power being generated, just the tiniest amount at around 5:30 in the morning. And then as the sun gets higher in the sky, more power is generated until you kind of peak out uh, between, let's say, like noon and 3 o'clock are where you generate the most amount of power, and so you kind of get like this bell curve shape in terms of how much power is being generated, and where we see these little dips, those could be clouds that have blocked the sun for brief periods of time. So maybe a big cloud has come in each one of these dips, and kind of, yeah, obviously negatively affects how much power you generate, but obviously you're still making a decent amount, and that's what power generation looks like throughout the course of a day. Hello, in terms of, again, talking about solar power, in terms of power generated in a year, this is kind of what it looks like. So this is 2019 in January, not making a whole lot. There could be snow on the panels. The sun is very low on the horizon. That also affects how much power is generated. And obviously the amount of daylight hours is much less in January. In February, we're starting to get a little bit more sun hours. That's increasing, so we get a little more. And then March, there is a big jump. We're seeing some warmer weather, less snow up there, more sun. We get to that spring equinox, to that point around March 21st, where we get 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of the nighttime. And so, but we're getting a lot more sun here. And then April, May, it's looking really great. We kind of had a rainy summer last year, so it didn't make as much as in June and July as I wanted, but still quite a bit. And then August, we're moving into fall. The days are getting a bit shorter. September, the amount of sunlight is more accurate, is getting in a day is getting a bit shorter, and less and less all the way till December. And then again, at this point here, we're getting like snow on the solar panels and less sun hours during the day. And so again, we kind of see this bell curve of electricity being generated over the course of the year. And so typically at our house, we're maybe using like 750 to 800 kilowatt hours per month. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months out of the year where we are making enough to supply our own energy demand. And so if we can kind of like cut the tops of these off and glue them onto these other pieces here over the course of the year, you might be able to kind of see how it would be close. We can make enough power for our home
throughout the course of the year by chopping these pieces off and gluing them onto these shorter ones down here, so that we make enough energy for our home over the course of the year by selling this amount back to the grid and then borrowing from the grid in these months where we're not making as much.